Finally, Larry Wheels is back into arm wrestling. Or is he? Well, let's be honest, Jeff Dabe has the biggest hands in the world, and getting him on the thumbnail and in the video can get you a lot of views. And that's probably the reason why Larry was there in the first place, and maybe not for the actual love of arm wrestling. But there is nothing wrong with that. I hope Larry keeps on getting these opportunities forever, and he keeps on arm wrestling forever. Under that video, Greg Doucette has commented, Arm Wrestling TV, Schoolboy's brother has commented, and Chan Shaw also commented asking for Larry Wheels' comeback. Well, I would say, Chance, when are you going to come back to arm wrestling? Because in the last couple of years, I only remember you having one super match against Devon Larrett. So the practice pull was a little bit closer than what I expected. I thought Larry is going to completely dominate Jeff Dabe, but you can see that he was going a little bit easy on Jeff, especially in the beginning rounds when they both were completely fresh. Still, Larry was initially ahead 3-1, then it was 3-2, then Larry made it 4-2. Finally, it was 4-3 or something like that. But still, overall, Larry was the stronger guy, especially outside of straps. He offered Jeff Dabe the straps, which is where Jeff won his rounds. Larry said that since he hasn't arm wrestled in a very long time, he's feeling very fresh. Everything is healed up. There are no injuries, no pain in his elbow and his arm, and it feels awesome arm wrestling with a completely fresh arm. So all of us arm wrestling fans are hoping for Larry's comeback and a super match against Brian Shaw. Right now, it may be a bad decision for Brian to face Larry, but by the end of this year, who knows, it may get exciting. But in the same video, Larry made a statement which makes me believe that he may not be coming back to arm wrestling just yet. There's so much I still don't understand about the sport. I can return to arm wrestling in 10 years and still give it another 10-20 years and arguably be competitive. So maybe that's why Larry is thinking that when everything else fails, he will still have arm wrestling to fall on. So in 10 or 20 years, he will be 40 or 50 years old. Yes, arm wrestling is a long game. We have seen many older athletes, but if you take a look at the list of East versus West champions, there aren't many old guys. You would say that Todd Hutchings is 58, and then there's Devon Larrett. That's about it. If we talk about the guys who are pretty old and still very good, maybe top 5 in the world, then the list gets very short. Even if we are talking about guys like 45 years old. So you can say Devon is number 2. On a good day, maybe you can consider Michael as top 5. Then Todd Hutchings is number 1 at 95. Then who else? Maybe you got Rustam Babayev, who's like number 3 or 4 in the world as of now at 95 kilos. So the list is pretty short, and Rustam is probably less than 43 years old. So yes, you can arm wrestle for a very long time, but the fact that you can be champion in your 50s or late 40s or 60s, it's a complete myth. It has nothing to do with reality. 1 or 2 guys in the whole world, these are rarest of rare exceptions. They do not make examples. And this fact is going to change even more once the sport gets developed. Once the guys start arm wrestling when they are 5 years old, like they're already doing in Kazakhstan and some other countries, then it would be even more difficult for the guys in their 40s and 50s to become the champion of the world. Right now, they can be because their arms are more mature, their tendons are stronger and more rigid because of years of arm wrestling. But that will change once somebody has been arm wrestling since he's 5. So he will have 30 years of arm wrestling experience when he's 35. His elbows will be as strong as the guys who are 45 now. So I hope Larry doesn't believe that he can be the champion of the world when he's like 50 years old. That just simply won't happen. And since we were talking about Todd Hutchings, today I was thinking that isn't Todd Hutchings the strongest arm wrestler that ever existed, who is 58 years old? I mean, go back in the history of humankind. Who could have beaten Todd Hutchings when he was 58 years old? This version of Todd. Maybe you can say Richard Lupkis. Richard was 58 in 2015. I think by then, Todd could have defeated him. I'm talking about this version of Todd. Even if we go down in age, I think Michael is 51 now. So nobody above 51 years of age can defeat Todd Hutchings. No one in this world. Isn't this crazy? And once again, speaking of Michael Todd, he recently uploaded a video on his YouTube channel where he was doing King of the Table style arm wrestling. And he got pinned after about 15 minutes of arm wrestling. So the guy that he initially beat pretty easily, he was able to come back once Todd was tired and then beat him in a pretty long technical battle. So while Devon can go through the entire club for hours and make all of them tired without himself getting tired, Michael Todd probably cannot do that. And it may not be because of pure difference in their strength. I mean, Devon can be stronger than Michael, but that's not the only case. Devon's hand is much more dominant, and if you take everyone else's hand, you do not get tired as easily unless there are a lot of floor pressers around. I think if you ask someone to beat up a group of 50 arm wrestlers over and over again, Devon might even be better than Levant Saginashvili. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Like the video and I'll see you again.